All right, so we're just going to say what everyone's thinking. There is something up with the game the day before. We're going to go through, watch some gameplay footage of it. I'm going to break down some of my criticisms of the game, some of my concerns, and concerns that were brought up to me by my community as well. And I'll show you some of my red flags with the developer and publisher of the game, which I think are logical criticisms and fair criticisms of the game. Fans were excited about the potential for a MMO survival zombie game, which looked a lot like games that we were familiar with. DayZ, The Last of Us, Days Gone, The Division 2. It looked like this collaboration of all of these games together. And then there was some red flags. It started to look a little fishy. And then after today's reveal of the gameplay trailer, if you could call it that, it was about 30 seconds of a nothing burger. Fans are worried. I just want to thank everybody for the 1,000 YouTube subs and helping me get to YouTube Partner over the last year. I am so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. So what we're watching right now is a trailer that came out earlier in 2022 for the day before, and it's supposed to demonstrate, gameplay footage of it. We get a little bit of how the gameplay mechanics work. This looks largely like a mix between, I would say, The Last of Us, DayZ, Division 2, and GTA. We got a little bit of showcase of the ray tracing, DLSS right here, how the environment works. The mechanics of the driving and the interactions with the environment, like the mud. You can see like the friction of the mud, good light particles reflecting off of the top of the vehicle. Here we get a massive open New York, is what it looks like. And we've also seen footage of a suburban area. So, yep, here you go right here. This is more like that DayZ feel. This looks like where you'd be like a hideout or a hub for players. And then here is where we see what looks exactly like the Division 2. Down to the movement, like how they move, how they crouch walk, and then the upright running like this kind of reminds me of DayZ. Then when we get in this over the shoulder stuff, it looks largely like Grand Theft Auto. Now this isn't to say that it isn't inspired by these games. And this is a beautiful mall scene right here. Like, look at how expansive this is. So the scale of this game, it's the scale of the game is another red flag. They've shown so much. They show a mall, they show the suburbs, they show a giant wooded area, they show the city, and it's how massive is this map? For a company that's only known for making mobile games and has quote unquote a volunteer development team, this is a massive project. Here's a quick clip of the combat that looks super clunky. I don't know if it's the player playing it or if it's the gameplay mechanics of it, but it doesn't look smooth at all. And our character model design looks fantastic. The movement looks good. We got a little guy with looks like a PUBG helmet on. Got our knockoff sodas on the side. And then you're going to come around over here, and this noise is going to trigger, it's going to trigger a response. Don't mind the guy's terrible gaming mechanics of him missing every single shot. You'll see it coming up. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's the engine for the game or if it's just whatever they're using. But yeah, I don't know what this guy's aiming at. Some independent researchers over at Reddit have also talked about how the movement of the zombies closely resembles the game World War Z, and how they have voice lines from the game The Last of Us and the whistling from The Last of Us to distract the zombies as well. I want to show you guys a demonstration of what we saw previously, which is the footage right here. Pay attention to how the graphics look, the ray tracing, the lighting, the reflections, the character model design, all of that stuff. Just take it in really quick, and then we'll take a quick look at what they released at CES on January 3rd. of 2023. This right here looks incredible. This game right here looks like it's ready to launch. Now right here we can see, like, look how poor the rendering looks like at the hair and the shoulders. And this just screams Grand Theft Auto right here. And this, now we get a little bit of first person. And that's the only gameplay we saw aside from a scene in a hallway with a flashlight for a game that's releasing in less than 2 months. Let's also not forget that there hasn't been an alpha or a beta of the game yet, which is crazy for a game that's the #2 wishlisted game on Steam. Okay, aside from being inspired by other games, both in its aesthetic, gameplay, mechanics, and style of game, let's go into 2 giant red flags for me, which are the publisher and the developer. This is the publisher of the game, Mytona. If you go to Mytona's official website and you go to their games list, all of their games are mobile games. Like, I don't know what Prop Night is, but let's click on it really quick. And it just looks like it's a prop hunt game. So it's like if you played, yeah, so it just looks like a prop night game with cartoony animations, and you look like you're some sort of guy that hunts the props. As you can see, like there's like a monster right here. Okay, so they went from making mobile games to making a large, expansive MMO with a sprawling cityscape and then a large open forested area, and you have all of these complicated driving mechanics and lighting effects and combat, looting, homesteading, base building. You know, it doesn't, it just, you know, it sets something off here, my logical brain. All right, so now red flag number 2, here's the developer, Fantastic. If we go to Fantastic's webpage right here, they're a fast-growing, all-remote organization headquartered in Singapore. Okay, so we go to their products. There's that Prop Night game that we had before and the day before. So they're the ones that made Prop Night, the other Mytona published game. And then they made the day before. So let's go click on about them. A team of over 100 full-time team members from 7 different countries. Okay, and then 70 volunteers from 22 countries. So here's their mission, if you want to go ahead and read that, their vision and their culture. People are volunteering their time. It takes a massive development team to go and make a game as large as this is promising to be. To have a massive city. Think of the size of the Division 2, and then think of the size of DayZ, and then think of the size of The Last of Us, and then throw them all into one world. And you're saying that a team of 170, approximately, we'll call it 200, right? We'll round up, we'll call it 200. A team of 200 developers, almost half of which are volunteers, are embarking on this very, very daunting task of making this massive game. You know, if it works, if I'm wrong, yeah, credit to this company, because that is an endeavor which not a lot of people will make. I'm not going to tinfoil hat it and say that the game is fake. However, I do believe we were a little misled in what we were going to get with that initial trailer in 2022 and 2021. On the surface, the game is so promising for people who love MMOs, tactical third-person games, survivalist games, zombie games, all of those sorts of things. However, to trust a team that small who's only made mobile games, who's largely volunteer-based, you know, it kind of sets something off. I'm very curious to know what you guys think about it. Let me know down in the comments. And if you stuck around this far, please hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe. Again, thank you for the 1,000 subscribers and helping me hit YouTube Partner. I obviously can't do that without you guys. I appreciate you sticking with me. All right, guys, I've been rivtekk. I'll see you in the next one.